Hey guys, what's going on? This is Brad from the Ed Army, and today, as you can tell by the thumbnail, we have my hopes and dreams for Digimon Liberator. So before I get into it, as always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It does help, and we are growing the Ad Army. We are on that race and on the surge to 250 subs. So we would like you to join alongside us because I know a lot more people are watching these videos than just who subscribed. So if you haven't or considered, go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't hurt anyone, and it also helps me out knowing that people want to see more content. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, starting off, I'm doing this because I'm actually in my phase of kind of re-getting into Digimon. I took a bit of a break just because it was kind of in I wouldn't say in a dead space. It was just more of a blank area because we hadn't had any real content come out besides the TCG, of course. And I was waiting, hopefully, to see maybe something else. We did have, technically, I don't know why my mind's blanking, but we did have Seekers. We had Seekers. And that was pretty much it. We didn't have any announcement of video games. We did have the celebration, which obviously shows the focus on Liberators. So, I'm getting back into it. And I'm actually just going to talk about what I'm hoping for and dreaming of in Liberators. So the hopes are more so just for what I hope it does for Digimon. The dreams are just things that I want to see in it. Because I am going to do a few more videos on Liberator for like other topics about it. But, obviously, as we'll have to wait till more comes out. But getting into it, let's start off with, some hopes. So the first thing I'm hoping for is that Liberator will bring some element of its own way. So what I mean is I want Liberator to stand out. I think one of the problems we've had with all the additional Digimon media that's not either a video game or some type of anime has really been let down. I don't really think this is the blaming of Bandai in the sense that they let these things be created, but they don't promote them. We've actually had a few Digimon mangas that I honestly am shocked have never seen either more of the light of day or they're only known by very specific fans. Like some of these cards or some of these Digimon are appearing in the card game. So one of my favorite ones that will be coming out when we receive EX6 or, well, it has been received EX6. I forgot if we're getting it mixed together. But in Infernal Ascension, we actually have one of my favorite Digimon in Ultimate Chaosmon, which was effectively the final boss for the Cross Wars manga adaptation. I just thought that was amazing. We also have Victory Greymon and Zigurumon, which were I would say the final boss hero Digimon against the 7th Demon Lord Barbamon in the adaptation of, well, I wouldn't say technically it's the adaptation of Savers, but in the manga version of what would have been Savers is the best way to put it for people, because if you've never seen any of these mangas, that's understandable because these characters that are actually pretty interesting to some degree and really cool have never seen the light of day. Like, there was a manga that had been running focusing on Pulsemon that when I told some people, like my friends, they were actually like, there's a manga about Digimon right now? And I said, yeah, it was a little while ago. But the point was no one knew. So my biggest hope is that there's something that Liberator does that lets it stand out. Because I really think that with Bandai giving it the push at the 25th celebration, I do believe they are at least going to try and double down and press that Liberator is a focus, something that we need to look at, something that we need to enjoy. And I really do hope it finds some way to stand out. I just don't want it to be like a rehash of a lot of different things. Like, obviously people are like, I don't want to see Greymon and Garurumon running around all the time. I don't need to see Omnimons every day. I'm really glad that one of the enemy Digimon is actually going to be Dark Imperial Ultramon. That's, if you watched any of my Digimon videos or the lore series, you know that Dark Imperial Ultramon was arguably one of my favorites. I actually have the deck itself. I don't actually really care about the support for the deck. I just really like the design and the aspects of Dark Imperial Ultramon. So I'm just really happy that's there. I'm not exactly sure what direction they're going to go. Also, the fact that they're reintroducing Venmon, which if you guys don't know is a Digimon from either another game, which goes into the Destromon line. I'm just really happy that that's getting another focus, because I feel like Ragnamon and all those Digimon are just really cool. So the point is, there's a lot of aspects they can draw on. I just really hope it doesn't get too samey like a lot of the different Digimon medias tend to be, where people are like, oh, it's just either a return to adventures, or it's an attempt to go away from Tamers. I really do like the fact that it feels more kind of cross-warsy, where they have different groups, where we have I think it's I think Wing Guardians, and I forgot the group that the female protagonist will be following, but pretty much each of them having their own group. Or I think they're both under Liberator, but the point is, I like the fact that we're branching out more, kind of trying to maybe hopefully explain some of the more nitty gritty details of Digimon. So I'm just hoping for that. So that's also, basically those are the hopes. Another hope I'm having is that because we already seen with the next EX set, it's actually going to focus on Liberator to kind of give it a push in the OCG. We won't get it for a while, but the point is, I'm really happy that they're going with this push because it gives the fact that this is going to be TCG based a chance to really flush it out. So I just hope they make the decks good, because I would love to hear that people like Liberators because they could play the cards from Liberator. I just don't want a Yu-Gi-Oh situation where a lot of the times the anime cards are not that good, so you're kind of forced to play like the archetypes that are out inside or outside of what's being released in the media. I do think it's not like a bad thing when the anime decks are actually on top, and that's one thing I really liked about Digimon, is that a lot of anime decks or a lot of Digimon that were prominently featured in the anime have risen up into the tier list, back up and down. They've been rogue, they could be mid-range, they could be intermediate, they could be tier 2, they could be tier 1, they could be tier 0 sometimes. But the point is, every deck finds a way to use these Digimon in different ways, and I do hope that a lot of the Liberator decks or the cards that come out of Liberator really do get a focus to allow them to be competitive, so that people can really enjoy the web, or I guess it's going to be a web comic or web manga, the web manga even more. So that's just one of my things. Also moving into another, hope. I really hope that they give Liberator the focus it needs. So what I mean is, I don't want it to be like Liberator starts off pretty good. I don't know if they've already have the story finished, where I think like for Seekers, they had that thing done like probably months to a year in advance. I hope that for Liberator, it gets more attention to it, to where it can breathe out. You can get to like a middle story. I don't know how long it's going to be, so kind of take what I'm saying into consideration. I don't know if they're going to intend to like drag it out for a long time, like over a year, 2+. They might, but if they do, I really hope that they give Liberator the time to breathe. We really get to spend time with these characters. It is based on the TCG, so you can use those elements to kind of maybe help out. But also, it's kind of like this VR type world, which if I mentioned in one of my other videos for the future of Digimon, it's really important that you integrate some of the new technology, because I do think it's a stepping stone to making the digital world feel more alive. It's one of those advantages that I think Digimon can pull from than like all the other medias, because unlike something like Yu-Gi-Oh, which is like usually around like magic and kind of this not ridiculous, but like a different type of element, and Pokemon, which is supposed to just be like a whole brand new world, in my opinion, where animals are replaced by these creatures, Digimon has always felt a little bit. People feel like it feels too unreal, but to me, it always feels like it's like a couple steps away from being a reality. Like we have cyberspace, their metaverse exists, stuff like that is happening right now. So Digimon feels more real. So I really hope they just take their time and give Liberator the chance to be something that people are like, wow, this is cool. Now moving into dreams, because I don't want this video to run too long. Really quickly, the only dreams I'm really having for it is like different Digimon showing up along different players or people. I don't know exactly what type of world or if this is a separate universe that Liberator will be in, but one of my dreams would be the different characters from different Digimon, either stories or heck, even randomly like an anime, if there's some type of connection, get pulled into the Liberator and are actually participating in this game. But if they don't, it's not a big deal, but it's just a dream I have, because I would love to see some of these characters actually be presented to use their because a lot of these characters have anime decks, right? They have decks based around them in the TCG or in the OCG, vice versa. And I would love to see if some of them actually make a cameo and be like, oh, wow, I actually have to use the cards. I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, I've never used them before. I don't think you need to pull like Matt and Ty, but some of the decks that featured prominently are like All Force Vidramon. I'd love to see like the Tyrannomon deck if possible, because I think it'd just be cool. I would definitely love to see Mirai show up, because I think Mastamon is like a really fan favorite, and seeing Twilight, or basically, or not Twilight in the crossword sense, but like light and dark chaos, kind of like yellow purple, seeing how colors interact. Like this is another dream, is just people like it because it's like the game. So when people play the physical game, or like they play the online simulator to test it, that they like it because Digimon is played that way. So in the the webcomic, they'll play it the same way. You'll learn about DNA digivolving. You'll learn about digicrossing, all that stuff. So that's just one of the things I'm hoping that they go with, is that they just really try to integrate the actual game into the Liberator, so that people who are actually longtime fans of the game so far can read Liberator and be happy, and the people who actually just want to read Liberator read it and they're like, oh, this card game looks cool. I actually learned how to play it from reading Liberator, so let me try playing it in the real in real life. So that's just one of my dreams. I just hope that it actually spawns the next wave of players to the game. Because right now I'm in and out of it for the most part. I'm just more of just making sure I have cards and keep up to date with what's going on the metagame wise. But for the most part, I'm just really happy that we're getting more Digimon media. I'm a Digimon fan first, TCG fan after. So, that's just kind of how I look at it. I guess my final dream is just going to be that Liberator takes off. Liberator hits the ground running and is just a universal success around the board. I don't think that's too much of how I put it, too optimistic. My biggest reason for it to be not too optimistic is just I really want it to succeed. I really love the designs we've been having for the Digimon. The characters look really they don't look too simple, but they look interesting enough to where they'll fit whatever type of dynamic or experience that they're trying to give off. And I do like the fact that we are having more, at least from what we've seen with the first chapter or so, the integration of tournaments and it being a big sport. It's kind of like how I'd envision if they did a Digimon TCG anime, where you'd have it work like tournaments and then have the digital world be a part of the importance. So you have tamers effectively working with Digimon, but in the card game style. So it's basically forcing them to kind of play it out that way and really build on that. So pretty much that's all I've got for you guys today. This is just me having a video being hopeful for Liberators and just being really optimistic about what's going to happen. I'm not sure. We obviously don't have too much right now. And I'm hoping for the best because I really like what we're seeing so far. And I hope that Bandai really does give it the chance to grow. And also, as you guys can tell, I am trying to buff up my Digimon, content a little bit more because I am bringing it back. Like I said, I'm bringing back everything a little bit slowly just so I don't overlap too much, because that was one of my problems I had before. I had a burnout, and I do think that for the Digimon content to go alongside the Pokemon content, we need just a little bit of it at a time and reintegrate it slowly, and we'll get both videos. And obviously I have more Pokemon stuff coming, and you have Off the Cuffs coming soon. So pretty much I'm just letting you guys know that I appreciate it. And this is Brad from the Ad Army signing off, and for all of you out there, to sign on.